One of the jobs that I'm carrying out on this Renault Megane Sport today is the track rod, the inner track rod and the track rod end. What these two components do is when the driver turns the steering wheel, these rods go in and out this way. And what that does is when it goes in, it turns that way, and when it goes out, it goes that way, and the opposite on the other side, making the car steer. One of the other things that it does is for setting the tracking so that the wheels, when you're driving, are in a perfectly straight line so that your vehicle drives straight, doesn't wander over the road, the steering wheel straight. And that's done by, with tracking gauges, adjusting this in and out. So if that moves out, that'll move that further out. If you move it in, it moves it further in. And that's how your tracking gets done. Today on this particular car, we're changing these because the inner ball joint has play in it, not that you can see there. And the customer has also requested, because he uses this on track, that we replace the track rod and the track rod end. Because it's Friday afternoon, we've run into a problem. Taking the track rod end off. So, and normally when you do this, you count how many turns it is so that you can get the tracking almost as close as it was before you started, so that there's not too much adjustment needed on the tracking. We'll count how many turns it is to take it off so we can get the tracking done. Just take that off. I've already took this off. The clip on the inside. Take it off there. So here's a new one, and so quite irritatingly, cars on the ramp, as you can see, stripped down. Put the new one in like that, lift it up so it's about the same, and it's shorter. Just what you need on a Friday afternoon. Problem with this is, with it being shorter by, as you can see, that much, is the track rod has to go up these threads here. With it being shorter, it doesn't have that length that it needs to match the length of the track rod end to get the vehicle tracked properly. So these are the wrong ones. I'm going to have to try and find the one that is correct, the correct length, and then get this refitted and get the vehicle tracked. So the problem is, as much as it is this much shorter and we can get the track rod end on the track rod, and quite possibly can probably get it to the point where it will track and it will drive in a straight line, there's not many threads inside the track rod end, so it's not very secure. The further in it is, the more secure it is, and obviously there's a lock nut goes on the end to tighten it, but it needs to have as many threads in there for security. But with it being shorter, yes, like I say, it probably will go on and it will track, but it will only be a fraction of the way inside the track rod end. So one of the things that it could possibly cause, instead of having 19.5 turns, which is what this one had when I counted it off, I think the difference was, possibly 11. So it might only have 8 turns inside of it. If that's where it sits eventually, it might even have less. One of the problems with that is, with it being a high stress component, what eventually might happen is it might pull the threads out because it's not in there securely enough, and this might possibly fall off. If that came off there and was still attached in here, and that popped off because it wasn't secure enough, this wheel will just start doing that willy-nilly. The chances are you will quite possibly have a crash.